I mean, it's really important to me. I hope you think this is a hard class.
No, yeah.
I would like that.
Okay, so what I'm going to do
I need
is,
36 more to graduate.
I'm not going to talk. I showed you, and then I even filled in these tick marks, and I'll add the last ones. I filled in, I counted something, essentially. But I don't know what to do with this number. It could be a percentage. You could say, oh, then all with it, because everyone, when they come, I think we're all here today, right? I think so. You know, when we come, it's great, and we work hard, and sometimes we don't work so hard, and sometimes we do. That's what life is, you know. And when we had to, I am, you know, I applaud you on both the Marx midterm and on this discussion, which is interesting and challenging enough so that I want to continue it next week. So, yeah, you suited up and showed up, and this was certainly, you know, an A-quality discussion in my book. But but apart from that, I'm just going to back out of this and let you struggle with this, because, you know, I told you grading is the worst part of teaching for me. You know, reading and writing and talking to students who are interested is fun. But then actually having to say, okay, here's a consequence. You know, or a reward is, to me, the worst part. So I want to let you struggle with that, because I think that's as much a part of it as defining your own workload. I'll take notes. I'm getting a pen.
I think that the group should be evaluating the groups collective, like how they work together. As
Sure, yeah.
Instead of like individually singling out so-and-so did this, I think it should be like a collective for the whole group. But not like say, oh, I think the manifesto is not in it. Well, because you know that each group's going to think,
That's and I'm not beholden to it.
Yeah. If you're saying so that the whole group, like our group comes together, that group and say, like what we think we should get.
Yeah, that's kind of how I think about it, but I guess you have a point.
But at the same time, if you give yourselves an A and then what you present next week is not A quality, then the rest of us, and she's going to know it too. So, I mean, there has to, you know, objectively speaking, yeah, everybody's going to want the A, but there still is some kind of accountability because we still have to present this stuff. So you can give yourself an A, but there still can be some.
Right, but then that's why I think it would just be better if like each person individually graded each person individually in that group.
I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be like, I don't know how hard you worked. I don't know what you read. I don't know. Like, I know you came to the group or whatever, but I don't want to be like, like you would be just because I don't like the way you look or whatever.
And also that as important as the action was, it wasn't the only thing we did, and we had the discussion.
That's why I think attendance is so important, because maybe not everybody was in the group, or like we weren't in all of each other's groups, but we always had discussions in class, and if you weren't here to participate in those discussions.
What do you guys think about? I think we talked about earlier the idea of having like a conclusion paper, just like a response at the end, so having like. So I think that should be way more, and just because in my opinion, I've learned a lot in this class, and there are the different ways to add each one up in different, like, with the different readings and things in attendance, but I think overall, it's like a lot more, I don't know, it's a lot like more weight to say like what I learned overall, like through each one of them, and just, I don't know, because it's like the class was so, you know, discussion based and reading based that I think it counts a lot more of like what you've actually like got out of it, and like that should be evident in your conclusion paper too.
So everybody individually turns in.
Yeah, individually turns one in. That's weighted more than other.
So
that puts the grading back on you, kind of.
Or yeah, or like.
Well, if you give me.
Well, not necessarily. If you structure it in the form of like say, okay, you want an A. Tell me what you learned and why you think you should get that A.
Yeah, that's what I.
Then if you make a good enough argument, if you can just show, if you can illustrate the fact that you've learned something, I agree. Attendance is important, but if you can justify the reason why you can get an A, then she's not reading. She's not grading it. She's reading your argument. She either agrees or disagrees.
That's what I thought the conclusion paper was.
Yeah.
I really like the idea.
That actually would be, and it would be easy to grade, like, tell me something surprising that you learned in very specific terms.
Yeah.
Like, you know, my aha moment in class,
Yeah.
something like that. You know, the moment where something just clicked, and tie it into a moment in the reading and class discussion. You know, in other words, maybe make it, just give me one specific
The moment.
description.
Like Arendt's moment, where the reactionary the magic moment. What was your magic
The
moment?
revolutionary moment.
Yeah. What was your revolutionary?
That-
I
that would
actually
be
agree.
fun.
I think that would be the best way. Now what happens if somebody doesn't turn that in?
Well, then, if that's the only really assignment that we've had, because I mean, we haven't, the pledge and stuff, then you don't deserve it.
We
worked
worked
really hard.
Yeah,
The
it's like-
satire group and the manifesto group I've been included in, and the pledge group is going out and doing a lot of paperwork, right?
Yeah.
And sending the-
Because I mean, if you think about it, how, I'm sorry, but how hard is it? Like, you know, like we've been doing it. We put a pledge together, and then after that, we've been doing paperwork in order to get money for everything else that you guys are
Still
doing.
work.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
And we still have to address all those envelopes.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
done by the
That's gonna be a lot.
Yeah, this all has to happen before next week, I mean, so that, and the I think the manifesto group should also share, I don't know where we've gotten to, but we got pretty excited last week.
We've got a pretty solid draft.
And so, all right, so look, so what have we got so far? We've got totting up attendance points.
Try to write, I'll write on the board.
So, somebody.
Alright, let's bring them up there.
All right, so attendance.
Okay. Attendance.
I don't know how to spell.
Starts with an A.
You can't spell it, you don't get any points for
Yeah,
it.
you're right, you're right.
That's number one.
I have to write it.
You both get the
A?
No, at the end.
At the end, yeah. It's like- I have to write it down.
Alright.
I don't get credit if I can't spell it, right? I'm graduating psychology next week. How do you feel?
You can
spell attendance?
All right,
Another
so we've
one is
got
self-evaluation.
attendance, and then we've got,
Self-evaluation.
oh, self-evaluation,
I
which
think
is.
that's like
You got
a
that
six-
one.
We just give a
Description.
conclusion, is that sort of right?
Yeah, self-evaluation, the and the conclusion should be on the same page.
Like, last one.
I think it's really called like response.
What's that?
Class conclusion, the page, I don't know. Or is that part of the self-evaluation, is that the same thing?
Yeah, it should be, they're combined.
It should be like
I think it's just
self-evaluation slash conclusion.
All right.
Same thing, okay, one bullet point.
Yeah.
I think those are the only two factors.
The
that really-
the magic revolutionary
other
moment
people
where
suggested
that
a
wasn't
group
one.
We're gonna
put that into the
Other people
evaluation.
over here suggested a group evaluation.
Group evaluation, is that something we're going to do, guys?
I think we're putting up
Evaluation?
ideas. I don't think we're putting up like things we've decided yet.
Yeah, I'm just putting up ideas.
Yeah, we're putting them up and then we'll.
Okay, so group evaluation.
Group evaluation, what form is that gonna take?
That's the
I
issue,
think,
yeah.
I think in like the reflection paper, you could put that in there too,
Yeah.
like my group did really awesome.
This
Well,
would
I'm
be
gonna
right.
write
Yeah.
How we
That's what
accomplished it, like you can break it down
Yeah,
so
like,
easily
what do
and
you
show
think?
it.
Well, that's what I think that's easier,
Where
like,
you can
not even easier, but just a better way of doing, like writing it out. So that's why it's like, instead of just giving yourself a number of what you thought you did, I think it would mean more also if you just like wrote what you thought you should get instead. So I don't know if we should even like have a rubric style in
Like
place of like,
qualify the grade.
yeah, because I mean, you can just include all of it in the paper. It's just saying like, in my group, I think we did this much, and then in discussion, I learned this much, and then overall. So I think that like, that might be an easier way to get a better.
Just consolidate it.
Yeah.
And then perhaps when you read it, you can look at our attendance and say, yeah, right.
Yeah, or, you know,
I agree.
it'd be
There should
nice
only be
also
expressive.
if there was some, you know, I'm saying the aha moment or I think she
Oh, yeah, I'll
calls
write
it
that
the
up here,
secret
too.
treasure of the revolution, the
like
magic
the magic
revolutionary
moment.
moment. Maybe could be very personal, you know, a moment when something A moment of enlightenment.
That's why I think it should be a reflection, because it's like
Yeah.
a personal
Yeah.
reflection of the class. Like,
Right.
you should go into, well, it's an upper division class, like
Yeah.
you should be able to articulate on paper how you felt throughout the class.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I agree, and I think that,
benefits
this,
and
that maybe
the
needs
things
to be
you
a
did to
discrete
get
section.
Yeah,
or-
it sounds like we have decided this. There is gonna be a self-reflection.
And
Yeah.
it's due next class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone agrees
Yeah.
with this,
Yeah.
all right. maybe
And,
two.
and then the
Next class or?
Try to get
Yes,
it.
class is Tuesday. I keep thinking Thursday. Like, get it.
maybe.
How long will it be?
I say it's up to you.
However long it takes you to
Okay.
justify your argument.
I
Well,
don't
it's
think
not,
there's,
No.
Totally
You
do
can
it
do it
because you'll know when it's done.
be convincing and thorough.
That's what-
yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's an upper division class, I don't think we need to say, like, if you can't come up with more than a page in this class, like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I
You
think,
would know if we put in effort or not, for sure.
Do you think it's a fair
Whatever
page
page.
requirement, then just one page or more, or?
I don't want a page requirement.
No,
It's just-
yeah,
Okay,
no, yeah.
cool, no page requirement?
No, I want it to be justified, and do honor to the fact that, we've been in this class 3 hours a day at the end, and we never thought we could do this. Those first weeks were, oh my God.
The first day of school.
Yeah.
That was
You know,
great.
so-
That was
so,
rough.
you know, I think you kind of want to respect the effort that you put in by really reflecting on, you know, and trying to be specific about something, not just, oh, it was so interesting to me, and I read this, and then I read that, and now I'm a new person, that, you know, more like.
Well, did you want us to write about like each individual piece that we read, or is it okay, because, I mean, I know I struggle with Arendt, like, I mean, just understanding, but Marx on the other hand, like, I got, and I
Yeah.
understood.
Well, that
So-
could relate to her aha moment she's talking about.
Yeah.
So it's okay that we don't have
No,
to write
when you
about.
came in and said, I love Marx, that was your aha moment.
Well, and you
Right.
can include that you
Okay.
struggled with Arendt, and you can
Yeah.
like include like what you struggled with and why you thought you did, and then why you didn't, you know, why you got Marx more. So that's like just like including reflecting that.
It could, yeah, I mean, some indication that you've tried with Arendt, or that some of you actually got some insight out of her. Or if, you know, sometimes theorists wear out. You know, there are times when Marx just seems irrelevant, that it might be this is not the right moment for Arendt. Reich is in there too. I mean, yeah, I think it's just a moment that is whatever it takes to honor your effort in this class in a specific way of, you know, something good that happened and maybe something that didn't happen. It's, you know, it's really up to you to kind of describe the trajectory of your involvement in this class, you know, and pinpoint it. And good storytelling always has a kind of a center. You know, so that, and then I'm thinking with the group evaluations, what might be nice is to reflect on what you thought went right, what was fun. No, not right on summer vacation. I'd kind of like, you know, in other words, if you really had, the satire group spent a lot of time laughing, I think. Right?
We had a great time.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, but what does that have to do with political action? You know, I mean, kind of maybe anchor the group effort, you know, or inform an evaluation of your group in where you think it fits into what we've tried to learn about political action. Something, you know, something like that to give shape to the evaluation. You know, was it Arendtian, was it Marxian, was it Reichian, was it just 2012 Studentian? All right, so what else we got?
So will that be what our basis grade on, like, we put in our grade there, like, you know, I think I deserve this because, and then you write your self-evaluation?
Yeah,
Or do you guys want anything else?
so we've got how many things? Attendance?
Should I clean this
Do I
up a
have to do
bit?
any math? All right, the aha moment is the self-reflection, right?
Yeah, here, let me clean this up.
Pretty
just a bit.
Yes.
pretty much,
Everything else
other
is
than
under the
attendance, the rest of that
self-evaluation.
is all in that self-evaluation. So we basically have
Attendance and self-evaluation.
attendance, well, it doesn't even have to be self-evaluation. Attendance, I think conclusion is just a better word for it because it's gonna be much more broad than just the self-evaluation. So the attendance and conclusion, I think, are the only two parts that we're doing. Am I
And I think
seeing
that
that
that's
right,
like,
or do-
well, yeah, I think that that's going to be a more, I don't know, I don't really like the idea of splitting up the rubrics and that each different thing, like having to like assign numbers or percentages to each one, because I like the idea of just doing the student reflection or the class for self-evaluation, because even though, yeah, it's kind of like you could just say you want an A and it isn't so structured, but I feel like that's the best way to really evaluate this class.
Well, I'm not saying that has to be a rubric, but just
No, yeah,
the,
no, I'm just like
get the
saying.
components
Are you,
down.
so you're saying that
So if
you
you
don't
don't
want
know
it
what
to be
you're
like?
No, I think that we should
I-
include intents also. And I think we should include these things, but not assign points percentages to them, but like include it overall, your justification why.
Yeah,
why
well, I was
you
just thinking, I don't even think we should write grades on the reflection.
No, I just choose a letter grade.
Well, no, I don't even think you need to do that.
Well, how do you think we should
The
then
problem
decide
then
that?
is, then we have to decide the grades right now, because otherwise we're just giving them to Mr. Rain to
Should we
decide.
go back to like
What's
the?
This is hard.
I'm really comfortable with the idea of her deciding our
What
grades.
I'd actually like is for you guys to think about, what I'm trying to teach you by making you do this yourself is, I mean, how would you grade the class if you were, you know, which you're all supposed to be now, right? We tried to do a power shift here. And of course, it's coming back to me, but I'm pushing it back at you, you know, which is if, you know, if you were to grade the class, you know, to grade everybody in the class, let's say the responsibility was you, let's say we voted, you know, and we said, okay, give grades. You figure this all out, we're gonna turn this all into you, and then you tell Professor Ring what grades to put down. Could you do that for yourself individually? I mean, that's, in other words, I'm assuming that you don't want to turn over the power of this to one of you. Because it's really, really hard, right? It's a really awful.
I can definitely see how
Take
bias.
grades.
You what?
I can see how bias of like knowing the person definitely takes part in it.
Yeah.
Especially in a class like this where it's a lot of like just personal reflection about like in your learnings, the reading by yourself and discussion, and not so many like.
Well, let me do this. Is anybody going to say they don't deserve an
You know, I'll take whatever I get.
A? You really want it back on me?
Well, I don't know. I'm comfortable with that idea, but maybe I'm just so used to it at this point, you know. But also, I feel like there's a certain amount of how can I phrase this? I guess that's like, how are we really supposed to evaluate ourselves? Like, you've got the PhD and the whole thing going on.
Okay.
No, I don't really know.
You can put that in the self-evaluation section too, actually.
But-
Maybe a line or two about it. I mean, I'm not sure, that's very honest, Todd, which is something about, I'm so used to it.
I kind of
There's something
feel,
so comforting about traditional authority structures.
I kind of like, well, if I get a B in the class, like, it doesn't bother me because I feel like it should be completely what I learned and what I took from the class. So if you feel like I took from the class of what's B worth, if I didn't get Arendt and I mean, I understand it, but it's still hard for me to understand.
Okay, let's do this then. Wait, this is, you put the aha moment, and let's also have a second moment in that self-evaluation, which is, I didn't get this. Something that didn't work for you. You know, something that where you, so that doesn't mean that you don't get the A. It just means if we can be honest about what your A moment in the class was and what your B moment in the class was. And I'm assuming that you all want A's or B's, you know, but that's what you get. Some of you may only expect A's. But, you know, in other words, let's do it this way. Rather than grading yourself overall, why don't you give me the best moment and the moment where you felt like this isn't working the way I expect myself to work, something like that. And that'll at least give me, you know, some perspective.
Does it have to be regarding the text?
I could have was under something that was more like that, or like the discussion based on the text too. But I wasn't really gonna include I mean, there were aha moments with the talking about doing our political action stuff, but I feel like that might be in the group evaluation part of it. If we're
Yeah, I guess for me, this was such a socially mixed class that, like, maybe moments like that came for me, like, in the text, but, like, the memorable moments are, like, socially, like, through discussion of the text or like that. So that's why I'm wondering.
What if the B moment should be a text based?
Or, yeah, or if any of the moments. I mean, do I
There
have
might
to-
not be I'm just, I guess what I was just saying is, you know, kind of give me a range, give me the best thing and then the thing that was the most struggling. You know, like, I'm trying to think. I just couldn't bring myself to contribute anything to class discussion, but I was really listening every minute, something like that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, does it have to be like, when I was reading Marx, all of a sudden, and then like, oh, when I was reading Arendt, it was sad. Like, like, I don't know, I just feel
well, I mean, I like.
I feel like it didn't happen that we only have 3 texts, and I feel like maybe some of our aha moments aren't. You know,
Are not text-based.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, remember like our discussions at the beginning of the semester were definitely really exciting and heated about the taking action stuff. So I feel like